Good evening, folks. This is Deb. Well, you know, there's big doings out there in Indiana. The Indiana Fever are wasting absolutely no time in putting a team together around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. So today they cored Kelsey Mitchell, gave her a qualifying core offer, uh, and she is expected to stay with the team. And they also made a qualifying offer to Lexi Hull, and she is expected to stay with the team. I mean, essentially, um, they confirmed Lexi Hull as a restricted free agent, which means that, yes, other teams can make offers to her during free agency. However, the Indiana Fever retain her rights and they can match that offer and keep her. So we're looking at pretty much already a team with Caitlin Clark at the helm, Aaliyah Boston, Michaela Timpson, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. Where we go from there is remains to be seen. Now, the uh, collegiate draft is Monday, the 13th. And the chatter is growing around Gabriela Jaquez as the potential uh, draft pick for the Indiana Fever. It makes sense. I know somebody out there said that they don't need another guy because they have Lexi and Sophie. Lexi and Sophie are not playmaking guards. Okay. Lexi Hull is listed as a guard slash forward, and that's exactly what Sophie Cunningham is as well. They're swingmen. They can play small forward or guard, okay? But they are neither one of them are floor controllers or playmaking guards, okay? And what we need is a playmaking guard for when Caitlin Clark is off the floor. And that is what Jaquez offers the Indiana Fever. So we will see where this goes. Um, Rumors out there that I heard, and I haven't seen it because mostly because I haven't looked at it, is that Ajay Stevens uh, tweeted or sent out or posted a picture of herself in a Fever uniform. Now, to be perfectly honest, folks, this is the era of AI, and that could have been created by anybody and posted. But um, there was some banter back and forth uh, earlier during the CBA negotiations um, with Stevens and some of the Indiana fans. And so it is a possibility that she would be interested in listening to an entertaining conversation with the Indiana Fever. So we'll see. We have to see where that goes. Free agency, I believe, is the 13th through the 18th. That's when players can be negotiating with teams, signing contracts, and getting ready for the 2026 season. The Indiana Fever still have to build a team. Okay, they have 5 players pretty much secured right now. Their core is pretty much secured. Don't know what's going to happen with Sophie Cunningham, um, but we have to think beyond that as well. We need a power forward. So let's see where this goes. We could also do with a pure forward, okay? Not a swingman, but maybe a small, quick forward as well. All right. Every good team has a center, a power forward, and a small forward. Okay. In the case of the 80s Celtics, it was Robert Parrish at the center, who was a non traditional center. He was great. Larry Bird was the small forward. Kevin McHale was the power forward. So um, we could be looking at that kind of scenario again, but we definitely need someone who can bang around inside. inside the paint, as well as run the floor and take passes from Caitlin Clark and whoever may be backing her up. Um, so that the Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull news is great news for the Indiana Fever, okay? And they are looking at um, keeping that core together for as long as they possibly can. I'm sure they're looking at keeping Boston, Clark, and Mitchell together even beyond this season. They would be crazy not to be thinking that way. So we're going to see where this goes. You know, I've been looking around out there on the internet and trying to figure out if there's any potential chatter about who the Indiana Fever may be looking at. And there is nothing right now. They can't really negotiate or talk until the 13th rolls around. So the next thing we'll be looking forward to as we move through this process is what they do in the draft on Monday and where the free agency goes next week between the 13th and the 18th. And then we should know pretty quickly who the Indiana Fever will be in 2026. And yeah, it's always possible that they sign some free agents and then maybe make a trade. Who knows? I don't know what the plan is. Obviously, I'm not a seer, and I don't have any inside information coming to me from the Fever through, you know, secretive channels. I'm just speculating like the rest of you. So my big thing is they need a power forward. I think they need a power forward. Now, does Michaela Timpson fit that bill? Yes. Michaela Timpson can potentially fit that bill. She is still a rookie, basically. All right. She's going into her second season. So, do I think she'll get more minutes than she did last year? Yeah, I do. I think with the limited minutes she got in her first year with the Fever, she made the most of that. So, um, they protected Michaela Timpson for a reason. Okay, trust me. She's got a 6'10" wingspan, and that comes in handy under the basket for rebounding. Um, and you know, when the Indiana Fever drafted her, they felt very fortunate that she was still available when they were choosing. And so I believe Michaela Timpson is going to remain with the Indiana Fever. So, I mean, beyond her rookie contract, I think she'll be an important bench player for the Fever. No, absolutely no question about it. Could even, spell Aaliyah Boston at center. So that's where I think we go. If you guys have heard anything, please feel free to leave all of that in the comments. Um, and we will go from there. But now I have some highlights. And, it is entirely possible that I have done this one before, but, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Uh, this stuff does not ever get old, okay? And I know I've shown some of Caitlin Clark's rookie highlights. I'm not sure I showed this one, but it's a good one. So I think I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously, because, my job is all consuming these days and I need to get to bed, but um, I'll show enough of it. And then, as always, ladies and gentlemen, in the description of my video, the link is there for you to enjoy this in its entirety. I'm not sure how many minutes it is. I think it's a pretty good amount of minutes, but we will show this. And this is actually, I believe, put out by the Indiana Fever. So hang on. Hold on. It's possible I've shown this. I don't know. But we're going to look at it again because, this is 13 minutes and 47 seconds long. This stuff does not ever get old. Never.
I feel like it's night and day from the day I got drafted.
With the first pick.
From Iowa City to the Circle City.
As a player, I've, been able to improve and try to take things from game to game to get better at.
Here are the first points of Caitlin Clark.
Obviously, it was a big adjustment going from college to the professional level. There's a lot of areas that you have to learn, and you have to learn very quickly.
Clark, a deep burst.
Triple double for a rookie. Caitlin Clark has it.
And I feel very thankful to be surrounded by a coaching staff and teammates that, provided me a lot of grace, but always was there to be a shoulder to lean on and to really help me. I feel like I can continue to show up and be the same person that I am, and then as a player, just continue to improve every single day and, help this organization get even better.
It was perhaps statistically the greatest college career, men or women, in the history of the sport. 51 broken records. The all-time points leader in NCAA history. Third all-time in women's D1 assists. She led an Iowa women's basketball team that had been to the Final Four once previously to 2 championship appearances. The signature logo 3 and no-look pass, building a fan base never before seen in women's basketball. Leading to the women's championship game, outdrawing the men's in viewership. Caitlin Clark jettisoned into not just a women's basketball star, but a household name and one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet. Not just lighting up scoreboards, but television screens too.
Every box, whatever the box you have, Stephen A. for,
right.
She checked it.
She checked it. She checked it. Make no mistake about it. She deserves all the praise in the world that she's getting right now.
And after one of the most historic college careers ever, it was straight to the 2024 WNBA draft with the Indiana Fever on the clock with the #1 pick.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
I mean, you're sitting at your table, and obviously I kind of knew what was going to happen, but you're sitting at your table with your family, you're still a little anxious, and then the commissioner comes out and calls your name. It's super, super special and super fun for my family to be there and enjoy that with me. And it definitely shows that the hard work pays off. And I think more than anything, I'm just grateful. I think I told my mom this, I earned it. I earned this moment. I worked for it. And draft night only happens once. So soaking that in with all of them and enjoying it was super special. And a lot of my teammates, my coaches were there, having them to celebrate that with me, because I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for all of them. It's all hers. Back to you.
Fever fans, it's Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to get to Indianapolis. I know you guys are excited. I am too. Go Fever!
The move from college to the pros is a fast one for all rookies. But with the season starting earlier in 2024 due to the Paris Olympics and the media spotlight Clark had garnered, the next few weeks would be a whirlwind.
Felt good. I was a little overwhelmed. I didn't know what to expect, but I wish I could have ran through like this, but outfit doesn't really make that work.
Those shoes just won't let that happen.
Moving to a new city, meeting a new fan base, meeting your new teammates, and integrating into a new organization with the season less than a month away. And instantly, it would become clear that the spotlight on the Fever organization would be different than the franchise has ever seen, as Clark made appearances on numerous national outlets and media poured into practices just to get their first glimpse of the 2024 Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark as a pro.
Feeling for everything you did after Final Four leading up to this, including non-basketball things, what did it mean to you to just play beyond the court?
Yeah, I think that's what I was most excited for, is get all the other stuff out of the way. And there really hasn't been a down period for me to kind of really catch my breath, but at the same time, I feel really grateful for that too. And like I said to everybody, I feel like I'm in really good basketball shape. There's no getting back in shape for myself. I've been playing basketball. There's been no really off period, and for me, I feel like that's a really good thing. You just keep the momentum rolling and keep being myself, keep learning. Draft was amazing, New York City was amazing, LA was amazing, but I was excited just to get here and get back to playing basketball and doing my job.
can hear her communicating. You can see the way that she can find you. I mean, her passes are tremendous. And so as a post player, it makes me want to run because I'm like, okay, I'll get a touch. Let me just get down there just because of how well she passed it. But I mean, she's a great teammate. She just talks, communicates. We have laughs. And so it's always great.
The Fever embarked on what likely is the toughest early season schedule a WNBA team has ever faced in the history of the league. 11 games in 20 days, nearly all against the very top powers in the league. And it would take Clark and the Fever a moment to catch their footing. But even from the beginning, even in those tough early season moments, you could see flashes of the player Caitlin Clark was capable of becoming at the professional level. In just her 6th game as a pro, she finished 2 assists shy of a triple-double, drilling late game threes to bury the LA Sparks.
She had a defense by the Sparks fans. 6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep three! Oop, that is! It knocks that one down, and it's a big one.
A jam-packed Gainbridge Fieldhouse filled to the brim with Fever fans. 22 jerseys and memorabilia everywhere you turn. Fans packed in the players' tunnel, hoping for a moment, an autograph from their young star. Through her first 11 games, Clark averaged 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Despite being just a rookie, Clark would see hounding defenses focused heavily on her, a sign of respect for her ability, despite being just weeks old in her WNBA career. Then, Game 12, in the nation's capital. A night when both Clark and the Indiana Fever would transform seemingly overnight. In front of a sold-out building on the road, Clark dropped in 3 after 3 after 3, hitting 7 on the night, finishing with 30 points, helping lead the Fever to a victory. As it would turn out, from that night in D.C. on, the Fever would have the #1 offense in the WNBA, even better than #1 New York or 2-time defending champion Las Vegas. 2 partnerships in particular stood out. The last 2 #1 picks, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, their games seemed to click almost overnight. And once they did, they provided regular glimpses of what made their pairing so enticing in the first place. Boston setting powerful screens, opening up Clark.
Obviously, AB has probably, the most experience to what I kind of had to deal with coming in here, being the #1 pick and coming to this franchise. She was somebody that was always very uplifting, and the relationship we built, obviously, between the post and the point guard is a very important relationship.
The other, her backcourt mate, Kelsey Mitchell. The speed of Mitchell resulted in her being the primary target in Clark's get-ahead passes, which would turn into a major weapon as the season progressed. But Mitchell, who needs little space to get off a shot, would soon start to benefit from more open looks than she's had in her career.
To me, Kels is one of the most underrated players in our league and doesn't always get the credit that she deserves. She's had the best year of her career. She was absolutely tremendous, but she was always just somebody that was there for me and somebody I could lean on, and she was always there to pick me up.
And that signature deep 3 that made so many fall in love with her game, well, it translated right over into the WNBA too. Her average 3-point shot was 28 feet away this year. That's 6 feet behind the 3-point line and the furthest average distance in the entire WNBA. That seemingly unlimited range forces defenders to guard her much further away than they guard everybody else, which opens up other areas of her game and her teammates' game. When a defender has to pick her up at 30 feet, Clark regularly makes that defender pay by blowing right by her. This skill set is especially deadly in transition, where defenders have to make split-second decisions, which often turns into a pick-your-poison, leave a deadly 3-point shooter open, or allow her to beat you off the dribble and with her passing. Her gravity alone makes her impactful even when the possession isn't run through her. It's of course not just one area that makes Clark great, but the combination of her shooting, scoring, passing, and rebounding, which is exceedingly rare. And that was on full display on July 6th when she made history.
First triple-double for a rookie. Caitlin Clark has it. More history for the Fever rookie.
Then just 11 days later, she'd make even more impressive history. With 19 assists in Dallas, she set a new WNBA record for most assists in a game.
We're tied again! Incredible!
All of a sudden, as the Olympic break hit, Clark found herself as the WNBA's assist leader, an all-star, the first rookie with a triple-double, and she became the heavy favorite for Rookie of the Year, with her name even starting to creep into all WNBA territory. But Clark found out earlier in the year she would not be part of Team USA in the Olympics as many expected her to be. Instead, she harnessed that decision into a lethal three-headed monster of motivation, chemistry building, and rest.
Like coming in, right off my college season and then coming right to the WNBA, having that reset has been something that I probably haven't had in like a year. So now that I've had a little break, it's been really good for myself, but I feel like I definitely have that itch to get back out there.
The version of Caitlin Clark and the fever that emerged out of the Olympic break was a sight to behold, leveling up her game once again, and her teammates followed suit. The Fever went a WNBA best 7-1 in their first 8 games out of the break, going from a team hoping to make the playoffs to a team who clinched a playoff berth with weeks to spare, and one that would solidly end up with the 6th seed. This stretch of play would turn out to be the best stretch the Fever have had in nearly a decade, and Clark, of course, was at the center of it all, averaging 25 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. She was arguably the best player in the entire WNBA over this time, as she and Mitchell emerged as the best backcourt duo in the WNBA during this stretch. And the awards started pouring in. Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Then again. Then a third straight time. Another Rookie of the Month award. And Eastern Conference Player of the Month. It was a season for the record books. Among Clark's seemingly incalculable number of awards and recognitions include the only 2 rookie triple-doubles in WNBA history, the WNBA total assists record, the single-game assists record, the most assists per game from a rookie, the most threes made in the WNBA this season, leading to Rookie of the Year and finishing 4th in the MVP voting. Yet the impact of her rookie season may not be best remembered by the awards or the return to the playoffs, but rather the movement started in Indiana. The Fever not only set the WNBA's attendance record, they shattered it. Over 200,000 more people attended Fever games this season than any other team in any other year, and selling out every single road game too. Caitlin Clark's WNBA career is just getting started, and as she says, the best is still to come. But her combined impact, on and off the courts, has already been breathtaking.
I think I relied on my teammates a lot. I relied on my coaches, and I'm very thankful for all of them because that is not something you can ever bear the weight of just by yourself.
Okay, I showed the whole thing because I had to, because I couldn't stop watching. So, and I've seen this, honest to God, between the time I went looking for stuff to play, I've seen this 3 times in like 2 days. But like I said, you can never get enough Caitlin Clark, okay? And certainly, there's chatter out there about her owning 2026, and I can totally see that happening after a very frustrating second season full of injury. She actually looks like the rookie Caitlin Clark, has not lifted weights or anything like that in the off season. And I think that she has decided to go back in time. And that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing. So this is where we are. Let me wrap up by saying that we have the core set for 2026, and we build around that. And the Indiana Fever, as Caitlin Clark has said, she laid down the gauntlet. certainly have to be looked at as the favorites to win the championship. Let us make it so. I will see you guys again tomorrow night, gang. You have a lovely evening.